Honestly, one of the biggest things that new personal chefs are afraid of is making mistakes when cooking for a client. Burning something, making a bad recipe, whatever. As a matter of fact, I had a doozy recently, and here's what I did to fix it. Hey there, Chef Shelly here. This channel is for passionate home cooks who want to get paid to do what they love, but they don't want to go to culinary school and they don't want to work in a restaurant. I've had a successful personal chef business for over 15 years now, and I help passionate home cooks just like you start your own personal chef business. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to subscribe and click the little bell so that you never miss one of my weekly videos. So I have a client family who is very healthy in their eating, and their idea of very healthy is whole grains, low fat, very, very low fat seafood. And again, before you get all keto, high fat, or vegan angry at me, this is what the client wants, not what I tell them to eat as healthy. So that's how having a personal chef business works. So this client has a recipe that they've given me that they get all the time, and it's for shrimp cakes. And at first, I had to do a little tweaking to get it really workable, a little better tasting, and also scale it up to 10 servings, which is how much they get every cook day. But after I did that, it was just wash, rinse, repeat on this recipe. Same thing over and over, always consistent, always the same. You can see where this is going, right? Until last time, dun dun dun, I noticed that they extruded some liquid while cooking, which was unusual. Now, honestly, this could have been from any number of things. It could have been from processing the veggies a little finer than usual, because these shrimp cakes are about a third to a half vegetables, actually. It could have been that the seafood counter gave me the wrong shrimp, and then I got some that was treated with, sodium tripolyphosphate something or other. It's that chemical additive that they rinse seafood in, especially shrimp, to make it retain water, among other things, so it stays moist when you cook it and stuff, which I never ever want. Regardless, something was a little bit amiss, and so when I talked to the client, this is what I said. Here's a little tip for you. This is what I say, either when I see them at the end of cooking, or if I don't see them, I follow up by email a couple days later after they've had time to taste a couple of the dishes. I say, as always, please let me know if you have any questions or concerns about your food. Now, sometimes you might not want to follow up. You might be afraid. You might not want to open the door to criticism that you think you're going to get. But I'm telling you, if anything is even a little bit wrong, you want to know so that you can handle it. How you handle a problem will be the difference between clients staying for long term and clients feeling like they can't reach out to you when there's an issue, or you get defensive, or they're just afraid to tell you, We all know there's a rare pain in the ass client and those are totally different. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about your good clients here. So when I reached out to her, she said, you know what? She said there was something kind of different about the shrimp cakes. The texture was a little different, and they were actually kind of gummy. And that clinched it. I knew there might have been something wrong, something off, but it's not like I can take a big bite out of a shrimp cake for quality control, you know what I mean? Especially on a recipe that I've made literally dozens of times. So now, don't get me wrong. when I talk about following up with clients. My first response when she said this was, "Oh my God, it's terrible. I knew there was something off. I should have figured it out. They're probably gonna quit. I'm gonna die," and on and on and on and on. And after I took a moment or two to let myself freak out, and then I calmed down and I immediately got back to her. And first, this is exactly what you do. First, I apologized. It does not matter what the issue is. It doesn't matter if it's an issue with something that the grocery store gave you, with something that how you prepared it, or whatever it is. You take responsibility. Again, there are pain in the ass clients, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about regular good clients. Second, I gave her a brief, like one sentence explanation on what I thought the issue was and that it was the exception to the usual. I did not give her a whole litany of excuses. I just gave her a brief explanation so she knew I could identify what I thought the problem was. Third, most important, I offered the solution. Before I even had followed up with her, I knew I was going to offer to replace the dish with fresh shrimp cakes or another dish of her choice, of course, at my expense, at her convenience, not even to go to her house. Since this was just something I was giving her, I just did it at my house and took it to her. And because of the way I handled this, actually, the client was perfectly happy. People are very understanding. They know that sometimes things happen. They know nobody's perfect all the time. It's how you handle problems when they happen that will either build trust and the relationship with the client or break it down to where you'll potentially lose them. Now, it's different if you're making mistakes on cook days pretty often. Then you just need to work at really upping your meal prep skills by getting more practice in. There's a link in my description where you can get my free guide and download it on how to do a meal prep day for a paying client. Just download that and get your practice in so that you have the confidence and the skills that you need when you get started. And then just follow up and ask if everything is okay, because how you handle it will pay you back in dividends. I'm telling you, the clients are out there and they are hungry for what you're cooking.